A very warm hello once again to all the viewers of this channel. Thank you very much for all those of you who watched the videos that I had put up. On popular demand, the one that follows now is a shortcut on formal letters. Let's make it simple, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and follow me till the end of the video. Mnemonics are just another way of helping us memorize information. We may use patterns, symbols, ideas, associations, anything at all that can help us remember the information on hand. Don't you recall, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you remembered the names of the 9 planets by remembering this famous mnemonic? My very educated mother just showed us 9 planets, which then used to be Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Of course, when Pluto was removed, this mnemonic changed to my very educated mother just served us noodles. I often come across questions from students where they ask, "Ma'am, when do we have to write a formal letter?" One simple ground rule is there. And remember when not to write a formal letter. When you are writing a letter to friends or family, you write an informal letter. Any other situation is when you write a formal letter. I reiterate, we write a formal letter only when we are not writing to friends and family. Anyone other than friends and family, we write a formal letter. Moving on to the shortcut, let me ask you some questions. How do you feel when someone whom you do not know complains about you? Do you feel good or do you feel bad? Do you think that the complaint is good or bad? What do you think of the person who has made the complaint? Don't you feel that he is being silly or foolish or daft or idiotic? These are the words I need you to remember and the feeling that I want you to hang on to as we move on to the shortcut, that someone has sent a bad complaint about you and according to you, that person is daft or foolish. Here is the shortcut for the format of writing a formal letter. Some really daft soul sends bad complaints. As we'd seen in the previous slide, some is because the complaint was anonymous. You don't know who it is. Daft because the complainer, according to you, is being silly. And bad because all complaints are bad. So the shortcut is, some really daft soul sends bad complaints. Easy, isn't it? Once again, let's remember the shortcut for the format of writing a formal letter. Some really daft soul sends bad complaints. Easy? Some really daft soul sends bad complaints. Now let's put it all together. Putting the mnemonic and the format side by side, we can see that some really daft soul sends bad complaints actually stands for the sender's address, the receiver's address, the date, salutation, subject, body of the letter, and the complementary clause in this specific order. A few details about the format. As we've seen, some really daft soul sends bad complaints. The sender's address followed by the receiver's address. Please ensure that you haven't put any commas at the end of each line. The date can be in any format as long as it contains the date, the month, and the year. The salutation should be dear sir or madam. Do not abbreviate it to ma'am because it's a formal letter and ma'am is the colloquial form of it. Subject, please note that the subject heading has been written in capitals and it has been underlined. This is to give it emphasis and clarity so that the reader can immediately know what the topic is about. The body of the letter should not be in more than 3 to 4 short paragraphs, and the complimentary close must be a thank you or with regards, followed by yours sincerely with your sign, name, and designation. Putting it into a clearer perspective now, some really daft soul sends bad complaints. Please remember to leave a line between each section. I have shown a couple of examples here for you. S for the sender's name and address. R for the receiver's name and address. This is followed by the date, which could be in either format, 30th November 2023 or November 30, 2023. The salutation, which is Dear Sir or Madam, followed by the heading or the subject, which should be written in capitals and underlined. The body of the letter should be in 3 to 4 short paragraphs only. I have only shown 2 here due to paucity of space. This is followed by the complimentary close comprising of thank you or with regards, followed by yours sincerely, your sign, name, and designation. Let's take a look at the full layout. As you can see on the slide before you, the format of the letter is done with the sender's name and address, receiver's name and address, date, salutation, subject, the body of the letter, and the complimentary close. One aspect of formal letter writing that always brings up a question is, do we put the salutation before the subject or do we put the subject before the salutation? According to me, you always put the salutation before the subject. Let's see why. Let's assume that you're in a situation where you are asking your senior for some leave. Which dialogue would be correct? The first one, I would like to request for 2 days leave. Excuse me, sir. Or, excuse me, sir, I would like to request for 2 days leave. Obviously, it is the second one where you are addressing your senior first and then putting forward your request. Similarly, the salutation, dear sir or dear madam, must come before the subject. Another query I often get from students and teachers is which complimentary close to go with. Obediently, faithfully, honestly, respectfully, truthfully. I would recommend that you go with yours sincerely only as a complimentary close. You simply cannot go wrong with yours sincerely. The ones that have been given in various support books where the complimentary close is obediently, faithfully, honestly, respectfully, truthfully, or any other, I would suggest you avoid these because these are an old form of concluding a letter. In today's times, we simply go with yours sincerely as a complimentary close. This finally, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, is what your formal letter is actually going to look like, where you've got the shortcut in front of you. Some really daft soul sends bad complaints, and that corresponds with the sender's address, the receiver's address, the date, the salutation, subject, body of the letter, and the complimentary close. I'm sure that was easy to recall, and I'm sure it's going to be very easy for you to remember because some really daft soul sends bad complaints. I hope you found that easy and interesting. Once again, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to watch this video, and I hope I can satisfy your curiosity by giving you more such videos and tips for English. Thank you. See you next time.